looking at the high school yearbook. Well, you know, back when I was a kid, we didn't even have yearbooks, or annuals as they're sometimes called. Nope, back when I was a kid, we had to make do with sticks and dirt. Of course, I was raised in Suriname by leprous beggars who were paid in seashells and driftwood. But you know what? We made do because we had love. But that's neither here or there. Yes, this is a very special yearbook. You see, it's normal in some respects. There's many pictures of the gorgeous popular people, and then there's only one of you with the school band playing your French horn and looking about the size of a ladybug. And then there are the vanity ads placed by doting parents who have pictures of their students as tow-haired little kids, maybe holding a fish by their family boat or laying on the floor with the dog. And then there's the caption that says, "Dear Bobo, you're the sunshine of our lives. You bring glory to everything that's good. Always reach for the stars and never give up. Love, Mom, Dad, Sissy, G-Paw, and Mr. Whiskers." Yes, this yearbook is very special. It's unique, and it's unique because it's been written in. Sure, there are the typical "have a great summers," or "call me sometime," or "you've been a very good friend, Barbara," even though your name is Angela. But you see, this yearbook holds something more. Yes, this yearbook holds stories from high school that are so terrifying that they'll make you cover your eyes in dread or scream at the top of your lungs in terror. Whichever. I don't care. The question is this: what will they cause you to do? Will they cause you to change? To act? Perchance alter your attitude? For you see, these aren't just mere tales of horrific teenage angst. No, these stories are meant to be warnings. Warnings to keep you from following in the doomed footsteps of the many before you. Our first entry will speak to the guilty among you. It's called "A Shadow from the Border."
I still remember the day when I first saw him. It was an ordinary day.
Lunchtime!
Nothing unusual had happened except for the geography bee and social studies class. I was immediately eliminated because I mistook the Rio Grande for the North Pole. Stupid now that I think of it. I mean, one's a river and the other's an ocean. But it wasn't as bad as last year when I said that the capital of Michigan was El Salvador. Or the year before that when I said that the 5 continents were Australia, India, Buffalo, Snee Farm, and the Moon. I guess I'm not very good at geography, but I do know one thing. I saw him sitting there, and it would change my life forever.
Can I have your shoe? No. I just blew my own mind!
Again?
Okay, cheerleaders cheer for players at football games, right? But cheerleaders also have their own cheering competitions. Do they have their own set of cheerleaders? And if so, wouldn't those cheerleaders have their own set of cheerleaders? If you think about it, it would mean the entire universe is all in our minds!
What if there are football games played during halftime of band competitions?
It's blown again!
So Cooper, you're saying that Battleship is your favorite board game?
What's yours?
Mine's Monopoly.
Psh, a child's game.
Not the way I play. I use real thimbles.
My favorite board game is Clue. I used to have a crush on Professor Plum. I used to daydream about the two of us getting caught in the secret passage between the conservatory and the kitchen. Just us, some soft harp music, over a candlestick dinner.
I don't suppose anyone around here has ever heard of a game called Risk? Risk? Ridiculous. Global domination? Oh, that's very realistic. Battleship sure isn't realistic. Yes, it is. What are you talking about? Battleship is just like real war. Oh yeah, just like a real war. Yeah, sure, right, whatever. Prove it otherwise. To begin with, in real war, countries don't blindly lob missiles at random geometrical points in the ocean, hoping for a lucky hit.
She's right. Also in a real war, you can see large boats with your eyes.
In real war, boats don't park at fixed points on the sea and sit around twiddling their thumbs just waiting to get blown up.
All very conjectural.
And what about this? In real war, your opponents don't generally tell you when you've missed them.
Or, for that matter, when you've hit them.
And in war, when boats are nailed by missiles, they don't just fatalistically sit there waiting for the opposition to finish the job. Now, if I may, Admiral von Richtover, you see, in real war, Boats move!
Given all this evidence, how can you still insist Battleship is just like real war?
Well, yes, but just like in real war, Battleship has boats. Irrefutable. You win.
Does anybody want to play Clue?
Hey, Harner, go easy on that juice. This better not be what I think it is. It is! Snow cone juice. Just as I thought. How could you, Harner? You're supposed to be off this stuff.
Ooh, Harner.
Listen, it's not what you think.
What else is there to think? We all remember last summer when you got addicted to this stuff. You would go around to soccer games begging people for money non-stop. And then you just buy some blue raspberry snow cone juice. You just break off the bottoms and suck out all the juice.
I gave you 40 cents one time.
Why do they always make raspberries blue? Raspberries are red.
We got you into the best snow cone juice rehab group on the East Coast.
I was the only one in it!
And this is how you repay us?
Yeah, this is how you repay us? I want my 40 cents back.
At school, too. Don't you know that kids are mugged for this stuff? Are you crazy? And think of your teachers. You're gonna be bouncing off the globes in geography class after you down all this syrup. You gotta get off this stuff now.
Do it for your education.
And do it for your children and your children's children.
Do it for Johnny.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You have to believe me, though. This is the first job I've had since July. It's just that I've been so sad lately. And instead of turning to God like I should have, I turned to this demon in a blue plastic bottle. You're right. You're all right. I don't need it. I never did.
Atta girl.
Now, Harner, why don't you tell us? What's got you so sad?
I had to take my dog to the vet.
Puff Puff?
Yeah.
Heartworms? That's been going around, you know. My grandmother had it.
No. OCD. Obsessive compulsive disorder.
My grandmother had that too.
How does a dog have OCD?
It's weird. Before he leaves the house to go walkies, he has to check the stove like 50 times to make sure it's off.
Just like my grandmother.
Our dog had that when I was little. Poor little Rover. We called him Rover. His real name was Tiger, but his middle name was Rover. Every day he had to bury his bones just so, and then he'd dig them up and check them at least 20 times a day. Canine OCD is a real problem.
Did they ever cure him?
No, that's the sad part. They tried an experimental treatment. It didn't work.
Cheer up, Harner. We'll stick by you and pray for you.
And we'll hold you accountable for doing the right thing.
Thanks, guys. You guys are the best friends a gal could have.
That's funny.
What?
That guy over there, dressed like a Canadian.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a...
Can't see anything. Oh, there's Roger.
Who's Roger?
You know, that guy in 11th grade who always makes her torts that don't really fit.
Ew, there's a scab or something in my sandwich.
Welcome to my world.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. He's the guy who makes pizza dough out of aluminum cans.
That's him.
There he is! Look over there now!
I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
All I can see is an empty seat wherever your hallucination must have sat.
No, he was really there.
Don't worry, that always happens to me when I'm in a horror movie.
No, it was a man. He was wearing a sombrero and a Mexican thingy.
Thingy?
Well, you know, like a toga.
A Mexican toga?
Well, more like a poncho. A Mexican poncho!
But I thought you said he was dressed like a Canadian.
You know how bad I am with geography?
Well, how do we know you're right this time? Maybe he really was dressed like a Canadian.
What does a Canadian dress like?
You?
I'm totally serious. He was right there.
Let me ask you a serious question, Benny.
What?
Are you gonna eat that duck liver stick?
Take it. Lost my appetite.
Uh-oh, Mr. Fargbarger at 3 o'clock.
But it's only 12:15.
You! What's your deal?
I don't have a deal, sir.
Drop it and give me 1,000, maggot. You know, I don't much care for your attitude. I really don't care for your sandwich either. What is this? Chopped ham?
Spam, sir.
Carry on.
The guy's pretty rough.
Shh, he's got bionic hearing.
But you in your place.
I don't even know what I did.
Well, whatever it was, I want to do it again.
Let's go to class.
As I went through the rest of school that day, I kept being haunted by the haunting visage of this bizarre apparition. What I mean is, the Mexican stalker was giving me the creeps. Or maybe he was Canadian. I don't know.
Communists are evil. Socialists are
merely incognito communists.
Okay, now let's suppose that during World War II, Franklin I don't know Roosevelt was really not a closet socialist. Would he have still chosen to ally himself with Russia?
It's a trick question.
Why is it a trick question, Patty?
Because his commie pinko wife would still have made him do it.
Good. Very good. You get a gold star, honey. Now on to our next unit.
How could he have made him do it if she didn't want to do it?
Have you been listening to anything I've tried to teach you? FDR couldn't walk. He needed his wife to help him do things like get up the stairs and drive a car, eat his meals, etc. If he had refused her, she could have threatened to leave him on the floor of the Lincoln bedroom, lying on his back until he died of dehydration. I guess it's a moot point anyways. Why is that, Edward?
Because FDR was a communist.
How does he get away with saying these things? I read the history book last night, and none of what he's saying is in there.
Excuse me, Cooper, but you must have forgot that I have bionic hearing. Did I hear you say you read the book last night?
Yes, sir, and none of what you're saying is in there.
Do me a favor. See this book? Don't read any of this. This book is written by revisionist historians.
No historian supports your version of events.
One does. Me. I do. And in my classroom, what I say goes. Savvy? Okay, class. Let's turn our attention to the next unit. When is Fidel Castro going to die?
Why don't you just drop it, Cooper? You're not gonna win.
Figures you'd say that.
What's that supposed to?
Benny, why do you think all the liberals on Capitol Hill wanted the Vietnam soldiers to come home in body bags?
Sir?
What seems to be the problem, Slick?
Nothing, sir. I think I saw someone out in the hall.
You probably did see someone out in the hall. See, Benny, this is a school, and schools have people. Ergo...
Not just anyone, sir. A Mexican.
Illegal?
Well, I don't know.
Wait here, maggots. I'm gonna check this out myself.
Hey, Benny, whatever Ritalin you're on, can I have some? This class is such a drag.
Shut up, Elvin. Benny's a Christian. He doesn't do drugs.
Do you, Benny?
Nope.
Never?
No.
Dude, you're telling me that you're not on any drugs? You seriously must be on some heavy drugs.
Who doesn't do drugs?
Look, everybody doesn't do drugs and you don't have to either. This is a high school, not a clone factory. It's about time some of you guys start standing up to this stuff. There's nothing wrong with having a conscience and living by it.
Is this who you saw?
I saw him again at soccer practice later that day.
Uh-oh. Here comes Thargbarger.
Soccer, huh? That's cute. That's cute. Maybe later on you girls can have a knitting competition.
Boys play soccer too. Benny plays.
Benny, huh? I thought you said boys play. Not sulky, emo, girly men.
This is a classic co-ed league. Boys and girls can play.
Fascinating. I wonder why it is you don't see that many co-ed football teams.
What about the Buffalo Bills?
Funny, you don't see them because football is a real sport. A man sport. Girls should stick to field hockey and swimming, if they must play.
Well, you should stick to...
She talks too much. Too much estrogen, probably. It does that to you. I saw it on Oprah.
Figures you soccer players would watch a lot of Oprah. She's nothing, though. Now, Dr. Phil, he's the man. Is the name of your team really the Holy Gorillas?
Yes, it symbolizes our Christian faith.
Christians are gorillas?
No, the holy part. We're the gorillas because we're smart, fast, and ferocious.
Who came up with that name?
Bernadette!
I love it. Catch y'all on the flip side. Pick up that Kleenex, maggot. Littering the field.
Can I have your shoe?
No.
Hey, Benny, you just missed my favorite teacher.
Cooper, have you ever seen things you thought were there, but then it turned out they really weren't?
No?
What about you, Harner?
Dynamite?
Are you seeing things, Benny?
I don't know. All day I've seen this Mexican following me around.
Do you see him now?
No. Wait, there he is, over there!
Oh, I see him! There he is! That cloud right there!
Not a cloud, Harner.
And there's a barracuda! And that's a ball of silly putty. There's the Bill of Rights!
Over there, by those trees!
I don't see anything but a car.
No, over there! It must be hot. He's fanning himself.
Where?
Oh, there! He's brushing his hair now. He must get unkempt in this heat.
Are you talking about that bush?
I see Millard Fillmore!
No, about 6 yards south of the bush. There, he's riding a pogo stick.
You're crazy. All I see is a dog.
Yes, the dog. That's him. He's playing with the dog. Oh, yeah. Now he's rubbing his face fondly. Now he's making him sit.
He's giving him a treat. He's taking it. He must be hungry. Now he's got a stick. He's gonna make the dog fetch it. Oh, there he goes. The dog sees it. He's going for it. Okay, now he's bringing it back to... Wait, where is he?
There's a turtle.
Where'd he go?
He's wearing a baseball cap.
You had to have seen him.
Hey, it's Franklin.
I don't see anything but a dog, Benny. I'm sorry.
Come on, tell me you guys saw him.
Look, pal, I'll be praying for you, but let me give you some advice. If you're gonna eat in the cafeteria, don't eat the Salisbury steak.
And there's Little Bear.
Ah, dry up, Harner.
One night a wild young cowboy came in, wild as the West Texas wind.
It was clear to me now that the stalker from south of the border was beckoning me to some horrible fate. It was as if he was calling me to some new and dreadful knowledge. I became very scared and very anxious. I just wanted to go home and lock myself in my house where he couldn't find me.
Who are you? What do you want?
Out in the West Texas town
Go
of
away.
El Paso,
Leave
I
me be.
fell in
Leave
love
me
with
be.
a Mexican girl. Nighttime would find me in Rose's cantina. Music would play.
we expecting anyone for dinner tonight? I don't know, like the Johnsons or the Magwoods or a Mexican? Oh, okay. Well, is it alright if I go down to Cooper's house for a little bit? Alright, thanks. Bye. I had to get out of there. The loneliness was killing me. I needed friendship. I needed for someone to tell me that it was all in my imagination. But then, if I were simply imagining it, wouldn't that be a more horrible outcome?
What do you think happened to him?
Isn't it obvious? This tree jumped down and crashed into him.
It's the environmentalist's fault, tree huggers.
Shouldn't we do something? It looks like he's unconscious.
Hey, Benny. Wake up, Betty.
Wait! I thought you're not supposed to wake up a sleepwalker.
She's right.
What about the Heimlich?
Good idea. Yeah, come on, Benny. Yeah. Here. Ready?
No, you boneheads, that's for children. Wait, I think he's saying something.
What happened?
What happened? I'll tell you what happened. You nearly choked to death.
It looks like you ran into this tree with your bicycle.
I remember.
That's good.
Me too. We all remember, don't we, gang?
No, I mean, I remember. I remember why he's been stalking me.
Who's been stalking you?
Son of Sam?
No, the Mexican. It was last year during soccer practice.
Did you see your face in there?
Ah, my liver! Ah! Ah, my liver! Oh, my liver!
What's wrong?
Oh, my liver's acting up again. Oh, I shouldn't have eaten all those jujubes.
Your liver's on the other side of your body.
Oh no! It's spreading!
Get off the field, Benny. If you need a new liver, go see the trainer. He'll put you on the list. All right, everybody, let's get back to work here. Let's go!
Hey, Patty. My liver's acting up again. Probably dehydration. That's why I wasn't playing very well.
You got schooled by an immigrant. What kind of American are you?
I thought about Patty and what she had said all day. I hated Pedro not because he was a Mexican or because he was an immigrant, but because he had ruined my life. I lay awake all night thinking of my revenge. I knew what I'd do the next day in history class.
And that, class, is how Mexico stole our land from us.
Hey, teacher, you think Pedro is responsible for some of that threat?
Pedro? You mean from south of the border on I-95?
Pedro, the new kid, he just started today?
Mexican?
Oh, yeah.
Illegal?
Probably.
Tell Tell me where he is, and I'll have him back in his inner tube in about 5 minutes.
Don't tell. What are you trying to do?
Just getting a little payback.
It's not fair. Pedro didn't mean to hurt you.
But he did, and one good turn deserves another. I believe you'll find him in Mrs. Markey's home ec class making garbanzo bean pudding and cheese biscuits.
Immigration agency.
He's got the immigration agency on speed dial? Boy, he's not kidding.
Don't tell him I'm from Canada.
You should be picked up in no time. Thank you, Benny, for doing your country a service.
No sweat.
I'm never being your friend again. You need to go home and pray for forgiveness.
Forgiveness for what? I haven't lifted a finger to hurt anybody. But Cooper was right. I began to feel guilty. I tossed and turned all night. I tried to pray for forgiveness, but I couldn't. I still felt the good feeling of revenge in my heart. The next day, something happened.
Hey, Dad, can I borrow the hammer? Hey, Benny, catch!
When I woke up, I had no memory of what happened to Pedro. It was erased from my mind.
I remember. I didn't believe you at first, but eventually I had to. You were so adamant that you had no memory of it.
And then yesterday at lunch, there was a newspaper that blew by. And on it, there was a story about this Mexican boy and his family who were on a trip back to Mexico. And on their way there, the bus fell over and exploded. And there were no survivors.
And ever since then, it's been on your conscience.
Your subconscious conscience. That's one for the medical books.
Wait, what are books? Was Pedro on that bus?
I don't know. But when I remembered seeing that article, I know I've been hallucinating. And my conscience, it must have been wanting to bring it back to the surface so I could deal with it once and for all. And when I hit the tree, my memory returned, and so is my guilt. What am I gonna do?
You shouldn't have turned him in last year. You know, Cooper, Benny didn't necessarily do the wrong thing. Without comprehensive immigration reform legislation, the future of the entire American economy is placed in jeopardy.
That's preposterous. On the contrary, thanks to immigration, wage earnings for average Americans have actually increased over the past 7 years.
But you're neglecting the issue of cultural assimilation. Runaway immigration has caused a coarsening in the American moral fabric, and the erosion of patriotism and the escalation of violent crime.
That's only one way of looking at it. The majority of Hispanic guest workers have actually made a positive impact on the areas in which they live. Their strong work ethic and tight familial bonds have led to many areas experiencing a lowering of all major crime statistics and an uptick in the employment rate.
Aw, dry up.
Oh, you dry up.
Liberal.
Bigot.
Guys, please. The issue is not whether one of us is for or against immigration reform. Benny could have cared less about that. The issue is
I acted out of selfishness and revenge. That's not what Christians are supposed to do. Not what people are supposed to do. The bottom line is, I envied his soccer skills. There was hate in my heart, and I acted on it. But I shouldn't have.
And after you did it, you should have confessed it.
You better believe I will now, but will God forgive me?
Of course he will, if you're sincere. God's merciful, and he loves you. He'll always forgive you.
I wish I could undo what happened. Wish I had some way of reaching Pedro.
Why don't you call him and apologize?
Who? Pedro? How could I get in touch with him?
Boy, you really are out of it. Don't you remember?
I remember they deported him.
Yeah, all the way back to Somerville. He was out of his school district.
But I thought he was from out of the country.
Haha, you really are an idiot. Just because someone wears authentic Mexican clothing doesn't mean they're here illegally. Their parents have green cards. They're doctors.
Oh. Oh.
Come on, Benny, let's go look up his number.
Yeah, let's go. I need to apologize. Think he'll forgive me?
I don't know. You sent him back to Somerville. I think you might have preferred Mexico.
Hey, my dad's from Somerville.
That would explain his mustache.
What are you trying to say?
What are you trying to say?
Our next excursion takes us deep into the bowels of isolation and loneliness. Yes, I think we've all experienced these twin stepsisters of loathing. Haven't we? Well, haven't we? Anyway, I think Plato said it best when he said, people, unless they repent, aren't worth not getting the stuff they deserve. In fact, that's the senior quote of our main character in her high school yearbook. Oh wait, no, that's Nicholas Martin's. Well, he's just the guy next to her. He doesn't have anything to do with anything. Listen, can we just cut this? Like, run it back and start it over? Great, take 2. Our next excursion deals with very bad things. In fact, it reminds me of a senior quote next to our main characters in her senior yearbook. It's from Plato, and it says, well, why bore you? Our next story is called The Horror Upstairs.
I should have listened to you from the beginning. You were the one who led me to the Lord when I was a freshman. You're the one who encouraged me to change, to break out of the past and become Christ's new creation. You'd been encouraging me for the longest time to listen to my heart and do what was right. I had changed so much, but there was so much more to go. If I could only go back to that fateful day, I would have done things differently from the beginning.
Mary, the time is right. You've grown so much spiritually, you're such a good Christian. You deserve better friends than those losers.
But it's not that simple. They've been my friends since grade school.
Yeah, Mary, who cares? There are like a million other friends out there who actually believe the same thing as you. Aren't you tired of having to subvert who you are just to keep fitting in with them?
Ugh, I'm so tired of it. And they're doing so many things to ruin their lives. They're drinking, partying. I've asked them so many times to come to church with me, but I just want them to know God like I know him.
But not at any cost. Mary, if it's hurting you in your Christian walk, you have to let them go. You've tried. You've invited them to church. You've witnessed to them. You've certainly tried harder than anyone else to get them to change their ways, but they refuse. And now it's hurting you. Mary, the longer you try to pull them up, the more likely they're going to pull you down. Trust me, I've seen this before.
I know I should.
Then just do it before it's too late. Here they come now. Do the right thing.
Hey, Mary. Haven't decided to dump us as your friends yet, have you?
How could I do that, Artie?
And how about getting smashed with us after school?
Artie?
I was just kidding, Mary. It was a joke. Ha ha. Ha.
Well, I don't find it very... Kyle, what's wrong with your hair?
What do you mean?
It's full of suds.
Oh, man. Forgot to rinse the second time I lathered. I hate it when I forget that.
One time I forgot my washcloth and my towel.
One time, I forgot to wash entirely.
You ever been washing? You look on the side of the wall and there's this hair just stuck there? I don't know whose it is. It's not mine. I ain't touching it. I usually just try to climb it down with some water, but I'm afraid that's the best I can do.
Mystifyingly enough, I've actually fallen asleep in the shower. Have you ever done this? It's early in the morning, the water's warm, the soap dish is just so cozy.
When I was a kid, the bathroom was like the size of Lake Victoria. I was swimming in it, diving off the edge of it, doing the backstroke, snorkeling. Now I can barely fit inside the thing. Why do we have to grow so?
Don't you hate in the thick cold of winter when you step out of the shower and the temperature goes from like 100 to 0 in 1 second?
Have you ever dropped a bar of soap and it sounds like the Hindenburg explosion?
I dropped a towel in the bathwater and then it weighs 1,200 pounds.
Cindy, what's that around your neck?
Oh, that's my retainer. Keep it attached to my lanyard so I don't lose it.
That is so gross.
It's not as bad as when my friend Roger kept losing his glass eye.
It's just a fad. All the kids with buck teeth are doing it. Cindy will give it up when everyone else does.
Not all fads are bad, Kyle. Some are good.
Which means some are bad.
A good fad was when girls used to straighten their curly hair with an iron back in the 70s. Remember that?
Given that it was years before I was actually born, no.
But remember when guys used to straighten their back hair with an iron? That was a bad fad.
I think that's you, Mary. My cell phone's in the shop having some work done.
Bad motivator?
Oil change.
That's strange. I don't know who sent it. But it reminds me, I'm supposed to watch the Peters kids tonight. Nearly forgot all about it.
Good thing you didn't. You'd lose that job for sure. Isn't Mr. Peters kind of a stickler?
Well, actually, he's kind of an oddball. He used to work for NASA as a monkey trainer, and now he's a professor at the college. And you know how professors are.
Boy, do I. All that white makeup and those red bulbous noses, and the way they all pile into those little cars.
Those are clowns, Kyle.
Oh yeah, I always mix those two up.
Alright, it's almost time for class. We better head back. You coming, Mary?
Yeah, it's alright, Mary. I'm sure you have better things to do.
It's not that.
Bye, Mary.
Do you guys think Mary's been acting differently lately? Like maybe she's too good for us?
She is too good for us. We're all derelicts and she's nice.
Well, I think she might still be nervous about the guy who used to stalk her.
Bob Rogers?
Yeah, that's the one.
Bob Rogers? Isn't he the guy who got killed in that drag race?
Alright, Carl, this is how we'll do it. You start at one end and I'll start at the other. And we'll race toward each other from opposite directions. The first car that hits the other is the winner, okay?
You're on! Good luck, sucker!
Yeah, that's the guy.
Well, if he stalked her and now he's dead, why would she be nervous?
Because he wrote her a note saying he'd come back and stalk her from the afterlife.
Oh, there's a dedicated stalker.
What if he believes in reincarnation? He could come back as a roach and look at her from under the refrigerator.
Oh, that's so creepy. Stop talking about it. It's getting me nervous.
Now, Mary, you don't forget that the children need 2 loving spoonfuls of Adderall before going to bed.
I remember. Don't worry. I'll take care of it.
Come on, Frederick. We're going to be late for the evisceration.
Oh, yes, indeed. We don't want to miss that part of the meal.
Yes, now, Mary, I left 14 slices of raw bacon atop the kitchen counter. You can broil it at your leisure.
Thank you. That sounds delicious.
You know, well, on the subject of bacon, I was reading the most fascinating article about the history of bacon the other day. It appears that bacon had several prior uses before it was being eaten. It was used as shoelaces, as pigtails on balding Swiss children, to jumpstart cars, and most interestingly, it was used as a source of protein on BLTs.
Charles, the girl isn't
It's
one...
Frederick.
Yes, Frederick. The girl is not one of your students. I'm sure she does not want to be bored silly with your asinine refuse about bacon.
Quite right, Helen.
It's Catherine.
Dang it. Quite right, Catherine. Well, let's go now, Catherine.
Yes, we shall.
Goodbye. Enjoy your dinner.
Bye.
And the show. Whew. They're more exhausting than the children.
Can we destroy the living room now?
Let's get you that Adderall first. Yeah, Allison, the kids are already asleep and the cable just went out, so I'm bored stiff. And the Peters won't be back until late. Did you know that bacon was originally created as a shoelace? It's true. Oh, Allison, I'll have to call you back later. Someone's at the door.
Well, if it's already Cindy and Kyle, end it gently and end it soon. If not, you'll be sorry, Mary.
I'll try, Allison.
guys.
Hey, Mary.
How's it going?
Hey. Well, we're on our way to Andrew Reed Jr.'s house. His parents are out of town, so he's throwing a big party. Too bad you're stuck here.
Too bad for who? I never go to parties. I hate parties.
Really, Mary, you're too much of a goody-goody.
Things are so much different than they used to be. Remember how fun birthday parties used to be?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Liz. Happy birthday to you.
Well, they were fun for the most part. But now the music's always so loud you can't hear anything. People are making out in corners and drinking alcohol. I don't do any of those things. So why would I want to go to that kind of a party?
Because it's fun.
I don't need that kind of fun. I'd rather hang out here and take care of the kids. And make a little money, I might add.
Money? What do you need money for? You don't buy anything, Mary.
I'm saving money for college. While you guys are wasting your brain cells, I'll be earning a degree.
I don't think you need a degree to stay home and raise prim and proper goody two-shoes.
Well, maybe not. But guys, I am happy with my life. I have Christ in my heart and a family that cares for me. And with all due respect, I don't really need your approval. I have one life to live. I have to live it right.
And you know what that means? No smoking, no booze, no fun, and going to church every time the doors are open.
You should try it sometime, Artie.
No thanks. It might bring out the good side in me.
Well, anyway, what brings y'all over here? Surely you didn't come to ask my permission to go to a party.
We wanted to see if you'd like to meet us there after the gig is up here.
Thanks, but that's alright. Hey, do y'all want something to drink?
Yeah, but not from here.
Wait, I have a great idea. Why don't y'all just skip the party and come hang out with me? We can play Monopoly or something. Mr. and Mrs. Peters won't mind. It'll be just like old times. Like, we can use cheese cubes as houses, and Artie can eat them when he puts us in foreclosure. And we can write checks instead of playing with cash, and we can even use real thimbles.
Well, that sounds interesting, Mary, but I think not. We've outgrown this kid stuff, and St. James Place just doesn't do it for me anymore.
How about going directly to jail?
Good one, Mary. We're not doing anything illegal, though.
Well, what do you call underage drinking, then?
I call it a lifestyle choice.
It's a bad choice.
Well, it's one a lot of people make.
It's a sin.
Not if you're Buddhist.
That's a sin, too. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Remember it from Sunday school, Artie?
I must have been hungover at that lesson. At any rate, you're still invited to come with us.
You're still invited to stay.
Thanks, but no thanks. We'd better be going.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, that's why we were here. The radio announcement.
Oh yeah! I just swallowed my gum on accident.
We heard an announcement on the radio. It said that storms knocked out a lot of electricity and all the cable.
You didn't have to tell me that.
No, but that's not it. They said that this guy escaped from the state mental institution. They said he was some kind of homicidal maniac. They said that people should lock their doors and not let strangers in.
But the mental institution's like 50 miles away. He couldn't have come this far.
I don't know. I just thought we should tell you, seeing as how you can't see it on TV. Just be careful, Mary.
Thanks, guys. That's really nice of you.
Aren't you scared, Mary?
Not really, but I'll be vigilant.
But what if someone tries to kill you?
Then I'll go to heaven because I have faith in Christ.
You're something else, Mary.
Just don't open the door for anyone.
I won't.
Alright, well, we'll see you at school Monday, Mary. Bye.
Bye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Bye.
Hello? Hello? Maybe I better check the doors just in case. Hello? Who is this?
Why didn't you answer?
Who is this?
How are the kids?
What did you say?
How are the kids?
Stupid. No one could have hurt the kids. This is just a joke of some kind.
How are the kids?
I know this is a joke. Ha ha. If you're trying to scare me, well, congratulations. I'm completely freaked out right now. Now, who is this?
Did you check on the kids?
Mr. Peters?
Check on them.
Who is it?
It's your pizza pal. Somebody ordered a large pie with pepperoni and pears.
I didn't order a pizza.
Well, somebody did.
Artie. Wait. You're not a homicidal maniac, are you?
Aw, not the last time I checked.
Well, when was the last time you checked?
Huh?
Could I see some credentials?
I don't actually think there's any credentials to be a pizza guy. I mean, have you seen us guys do it? I mean, it's hard to imagine them turning anyone down.
I don't mean to be rude, but there's a homicidal maniac on the loose.
You mean Paris Hilton?
No, a guy escaped from the mental institution earlier tonight.
Yeah, but like, the mental institution's 50 miles away.
How do you know that? You're a pizza guy. Pizza guys aren't supposed to know things.
I'm the pizza guy. I deliver pizzas there all the time. They always order sausage, pineapple, and extra lithium.
I'm still concerned by the fact that I didn't order this pizza.
Look, lady, if you don't want the pizza, just say so. Stop playing these mind games.
I didn't order it, so I guess you can just take it back. I'm sorry to have inconvenienced you.
Don't worry about it. Beats getting mugged. Hey, since I came all the way out here, I think I could at least get a tip.
Will you do me a favor first?
Depends on what it is. Does it involve shoplifting from Circle K?
No.
Then what is it?
Would you mind circling the house a few times looking for homicidal maniacs? And if there are any, incapacitating them somehow and immediately phoning the police?
Are you mental?
Now you don't have to go and catch an attitude about it.
Look, lady, you're really starting to scare me.
Now hold up. You know any knock-knock jokes?
Knock-knock jokes?
Yeah, I know, a good one. Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Boy, shut up. That's always been one of my favorites.
No, I do have one. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
It's the pizza pal. Can you give me my tip so I can leave?
Oh, all right. I still don't like how you've been catching an attitude with me. All I have are 3 Sacagawea dollars.
Deal! Thanks, lady. Have a great night.
Thanks, good night. Okay, let me think. What can I do to get my mind off of things? A book. I'll do my homework. Yeah. Oh, I never saw that before. This must have been Bob Rogers' textbook. He's the guy who threatened to stalk me even after death. Maybe he's the caller. No, that's ridiculous. There are no phones in hell. Except maybe cell phones. And they probably all work so that you can hear the person on the other end, but they can't hear you. That would serve him right for denying Christ. Hello?
How are the kids?
Okay, this is serious now. I've got to really do something.
What is your emergency?
Yes, this is Mary Matheson. I'm babysitting and someone keeps calling. The calls are threatening.
How many times has he called?
Oh, 3 or 4 already?
And you say the calls is threatening?
Yes, ma'am. They keep telling me to check on the kids.
Are the kids all right?
Yes.
Did you check them?
Yes, ma'am. They're sleeping.
You sure it isn't just some kind of a prank?
I suppose it could be, but... Oh, I'm really scared.
What's your phone number?
867-5309.
If he calls again, try to keep him on the line. I'll do a trace and we'll send a police officer where the calls is coming from, okay?
Yes, ma'am. That would be great. Thank you. I've got to do something to get my mind off these calls.
Yeah, totally do. Party like a rock star, party like a rock. Party like a rock star, party like a rock star, totally do. Luke, I am like so your father. Nuh-uh, dude, no way. Uh-huh, nuh-uh, uh-huh. Pew, pew, pew. No. Pew, pew, pew.
Hello?
How are the kids?
They're fine. You're not fooling anyone. You couldn't have hurt them.
Are you sure? Did you really check on them?
Yes, I did. They were sleeping.
Did you shake them? Did you wake them?
Yes, they said they were fine.
You're lying. You know it. You haven't checked on them. You couldn't have.
There's no way you could know that.
There is so. 'Cause they're dead.
They're not dead. They're not dead. You're the one who's lying.
This is 911. We traced the last
Good job, Artie. Never seen anyone so scared. This is gonna look great on YouTube.
Yeah, we really got her. Her eyes were as big as saucers.
What are saucers?
Hey, Mary. Did we scare you? Sorry, we were just trying to have a little fun, you know? Chris is so good and innocent. We're trying to knock you down a peg or two. We're just trying to have a laugh. We're still your friends. We always will be.
Say something, Mary. Did you think it was funny?
Mary? Mary? She's dead.
Now I know what you're thinking. If Mary was dead, how could she write this entry in the yearbook? You're a very astute audience, I'll give you that. Well, as you may have guessed, Mary didn't really die. She was just so frightened that catastrophic damage was done to her heart, and she fell into a permanent coma. Now our final story deals with a subject that we're all familiar with, faith. That and preposterously oversized animals. Here, carefully submitted for your approval is Trip of Terror.
I know there are a lot of misconceptions about what happened that night in the woods with me, my 2 sisters, and my 3 stepbrothers, but what I have to say is the total truth, with nothing embellished and nothing left out. There are times I wake up screaming because I've been dreaming of what happened, or sometimes it's because I've been dreaming of pressing my hand against a hot frying pan, which has nothing to do with the woods that day, but it still hurts and it's scary. And sometimes it's because I don't feel like getting up to go to the bathroom. So I just try to hold it and play it off like I don't have to go. But my bladder can't take it and I convulse in abdominal pain. And finally, I just have to get up and go, and I hate myself for just not going earlier. Does that ever happen to you? Anyway, it all started with my siblings and I going out to search for the so-called Francis Marion witch.
Looks like a good place to set up camp, guys. It'll be dark soon, so better set up our tents. Girls over there, guys over here.
Tents? We were supposed to bring tents?
I have mints.
Me too, Mentos.
Hey, give me a Mento.
They're clear.
Yeah, I already licked the white part off of them. It's the only part I like.
Bobby, Peter, did either of you bring tents?
Hungry Man dinner. It's my favorite, Salisbury steak. We'll be feasting tonight, my friends.
How do you think you're gonna heat that up?
You heat them up?
Tent, Bobby. Look for a tent.
Tums, photo album, garter snake, comic books, remote control, EpiPen. I am allergic to poison.
Yeah, no duh. Is there a tent in there?
Nope, no tent. Sorry.
Alright guys, we got a serious problem. It's gonna be dark soon and we don't have any tents.
We all have sleeping bags, though.
That's true, we all do have sleeping bags.
Oh, and I brought 2 DVDs for later, Land Before Time 2 and Land Before Time 8.
Those are my favorite ones.
Taisha, how do you expect to watch those movies?
Dad has a DVD player. Dad's not here, dear.
It's okay. Mom has one, too.
We're in the middle of the woods. There's no electricity here. The only thing we can watch is dirt and leaves.
Great, I love art films.
You want to explain to me why we're out here, Greg?
We're working on our History Day project, fool. Folklore has it these woods are haunted by the Francis Marion witch. She was an old Civil War woman who turned to voodoo to defeat the Union. She hid out in these swamps, and whenever an enemy came by, she used her spells to make harmless creatures into giant bloodthirsty animals. Some people say she's still around here, and her spells keep out people to this day.
Didn't she make other monsters too?
Just werewolves and annoying weregnats.
What about Frankenstein's?
Those are movie monsters.
So are werewolves.
Just stop talking!
Did she make Shreks and Mothras too? What should we do first?
We should build a fire, 'cause it's gonna be dark soon.
We'll have to collect wood. Let's spread out and collect as much small timber as we can.
Listen to you, using big outdoorsy words. Timber.
Peter, let's get ready.
Right? Hey Greg, that's the camera.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
Do you think this would be enough to start the fire?
Probably, especially with this.
I couldn't find anything. There are all these trees and sticks and things in the way.
Hey, why don't we start the fire before the boys get back? They'll be impressed. Do any of you have any matches?
No.
Me either.
How about a lighter?
Nope.
No, sorry. I don't smoke. I think it's gross.
Me either. Although I used to carry matches around just to set small animals on fire, you know?
I heard you can start a fire by knocking two rocks together. I don't suppose either of you have two rocks, do you?
I do.
Great! Let's get started.
I wonder if there are any dangerous animals around here, like lions.
Or tigers.
Or bears.
Oh my! I doubt it. If there are, we can cook them and eat them.
Get it off! Get it off!
I can't get these things to light. I don't think these rocks are dense enough.
Let me try something.
Ow!
Nope, didn't work.
Didn't the spark shoot out?
No, in fact, some wax shot out, which is actually going to make it harder to light these things.
It's in my hair! It's in my hair!
Well, I guess we should wait for the guys.
Yeah, it's getting really dark though, and I'm getting kind of scared if these woods really are haunted.
Well, with your breath, I wouldn't get worried.
Taisha, you may be my sister, but I can still whoop you.
You got some wood for the fire. Where are Peter and Bobby?
Hey guys, what I found! A jug of milk.
Peter, I'm surprised at you. Picking up strange milk. You don't know where that milk's been.
You're right.
Hey guys, look what I found. A box of Instant Quick.
Yeah, let's drink up.
Okay, you guys start the fire and we'll mix the quick.
You know what would be fun? You know how on TV they always have kids going camping and they're telling scary stories? I've always wanted to do that. It may be just the thing to make this a successful trip.
I have a scary story to tell. It all started with Bobby's teeth.
My chest! It's on fire! Get it out! Get it out!
Bobby, I haven't even lit the fire yet. Now get up.
Did you guys hear that?
What, that bird? It was probably just a cardinal.
Or a bishop.
Greg, I'm scared.
No, don't be, Taisha. We're in the woods. Woods have animals. We're bound to hear all sorts of things. We just can't let our imaginations run wild.
What if it's the Francis Marion Witch? Or a giant bear?
Or the Pope. Let's just keep ourselves busy and it won't matter. Hey, I've got something really neat. I can do card tricks to the mind. Want to try one?
Sure.
Bobby, imagine a deck of cards. And now imagine I pick one from it.
Okay.
Put it back. It was the 6 of clubs.
No way! How'd you know? That's crazy!
Stupendous.
Wow. Meet Greg. You should be on Broadway.
Okay. Let's gather this wood together so we can start making the fire.
Hey, you owe me $1 for helping you out with that mental card trick. Don't squawk about it. By the way, how'd you know I picked the 6 of clubs?
Our nerves had calmed down a little in our preparations for the night, but they were still on edge. We had to constantly engage ourselves in activities just to keep our minds from scaring us with the possibility of the Francis Marion Witch and her spell on the forest.
Oh, I got one! I got one! Ugh.
Oh.
Banks didn't help when we started to tell scary ghost stories. That was probably a bad idea.
Marcia, your story was scary, but not all that scary. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was stupid.
Well, I'd like to see you guys do better.
Hey guys, I know a scary story.
The story of Bobby's feet. Shh, this is a good one. I've heard it before. Alright, if y'all don't mind, I'm going home now.
No, stay. You can't go now. It's too dark.
Bobby didn't mean it.
He slapped me with my own fish. He insulted my intelligence on at least 3 separate occasions.
He didn't mean it. He's just an idiot. Aren't you, Bobby?
She's right. I'm sorry, big brother.
Apology accepted. Hopefully it won't happen again.
Now let's hear your story, Bobby.
Alright, it's the story of a boy and a girl out on a date. They're driving along in the woods and suddenly they stop. They park, they're listening to the radio, and they're talking. Then a voice comes over the radio and says, "Beware, beware, a lunatic has escaped from the lunatic farm. He's murderously dangerous."
Murderously dangerous? What does that mean?
You know what I'm getting at. The radio said he has a long silver stainless steel hook attached to his right appendage. Do not approach him or he will kill you. That's it. The girl gets so scared that she demands the guy take her home. And so the guy gets mad that she wants to go home, and he slams on the brake.
Wait a minute. Don't you slam on the brakes?
Yeah, that's right. And what do you do to the gas? I think you pull out the gas.
No, you pull out the clutch.
Whatever. Anyway, when they get home, the guy gets out to open the girl's door for her, and there on the handle is the hook attached only to a bloody stump. And you know what else? Some people say that the man is still alive, and some people say that he lives in these very woods, and some people say he got another hook from the Francis Marion Witch, and I think that man is me!
Wait a minute, just a minute. He didn't get a hook on his foot.
Yes, huh? The witch gave it to him. He wanted it on his foot because he was afraid he'd get ripped off on another car door.
Yeah, right. Nice try scaring us, Bobby. You know, I've always heard that story was true, but I just don't believe it. I mean, there's too many holes in the story.
For real. Like the fact that that man had a hook on his arm. Now right there, it should have given it away that it wasn't true. I mean, they're never going to let a murderously dangerous lunatic just mill around the Laughing Academy with a big sharp weapon attached to his arm.
Right. And you know what else? They say the hook was found on the handle of the car door. Now, why would he open the car door with his hook? He couldn't have. I mean, he would have to open the car door with his good hand and then stab the girl with his hook. It's the only way.
These are all good points, but I know the real thing that renders the story impossible. You're all overlooking one major detail that proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that this story could not have happened. The fact that the boyfriend actually got out of the car to open the door for his girlfriend. Now that sort of thing just does not happen.
Amen, sister. Craig, I'm really scared now. No animal sounds like that.
That's silly, Jan. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's probably just an old owl or a hippo or something. Right, Bobby?
Right, sure, I'm not scared. You scared, Marcia?
I'm not scared at all. You scared, Taisha?
Don't be ridiculous. I couldn't be less scared if I was incapable of being scared. You scared, Peter? Peter? Peter!
Hey, what's the matter, bro?
He's too scared to talk. His hair's turned snow white with fear.
Yes, and it looks just awful with that red shirt.
Stand aside, I've seen this before. CPR! Ah, come back, Peter! Come back! Run from that light! Come back! Come back! Come back!
Thanks, Bobby. I think I'm okay now.
Look, we're all keyed up from these noises and whatnot.
We've got to settle our nerves somehow.
Hey, gang, I know what we all need.
Boy, that was fun.
You said it.
It still feels really spooky out here.
You know, we could just settle in for the night. I mean, if we're asleep, we won't be afraid of, monsters and wookalars and such.
That's right. If we get eaten while we sleep, we won't even feel it.
Exactly.
Let's get our sleeping bags.
Great idea, Taisha. Let's get busy.
We'll have to sleep out in the open air, since we forgot our tents. Won't Big Feet smell us?
Big feet?
Yeah, isn't that the plural of Bigfoot?
Wouldn't it be Bigfoots?
Bigfoot? Oh, no.
Why do they call Sasquatch Bigfoot anyway? I mean, why do they name him after his feet? It's as if they want to insult Sasquatch. Look, everybody, here comes Bigfoot. It's as if saying, look, everyone, there's huge gut.
I know, and suppose Sasquatch had a massive body but tiny feet. Would they have called him Little Toe? That wouldn't sound very intimidating, would it?
Bobby, what is that?
Well, I asked Mom for a sleeping bag, and this is what she gave me. Hey, it is a bag.
Say, Greg, what happens if some wild animal tries to attack us during the night?
Don't worry, we have the best animal repellent money can buy.
Bobby's feet! Remember last summer?
No, not that. He bathes them in tannic acid now. I mean Peter.
What do you mean?
You'll see. See what I mean? Peter, what's the matter?
He was gonna eat me, Mama! Mama!
Peter, Mama's not here.
Daddy! Don't let it eat me, Daddy!
He's not here either.
Greg, what are we gonna do?
I'll tell you what we should do. Get out of here, that's what.
You may be right, with all these wild animals roaming around and us with no tents.
Wild animals? Greg, that was no wild animal! That was a wookalar!
Don't be ridiculous. Wookalars only exist in Celtic folklore.
Icelandic.
They don't exist in reality.
Unless there's a real Francis Marion witch.
Taisha, shut up until Greg is finished.
I was finished.
Now, Taisha.
I just said it.
Well, say it again. I wasn't really paying attention.
I said, unless there's a real Francis Marion witch.
Yeah.
We all know there isn't one. That's why we're out here, to prove it.
But if we all know there isn't one, what's the point of proving it?
Good question, Marcia. What do you have to say to that one, Greg?
Would you go roll in axle grease? The point is that there's no Francis Marion witch. Let's be reasonable. What probably frightened Peter was a bear or a mountain lion or something. And believe me, that's scarier than any old witch.
He's got a point.
I'll tell you, it's a wookalar.
Did you see it?
No, but I smelled it. I have excellent smelling. I always have. You know that. You all know that.
Who even knows what wookalars smell like, Peter?
Actually, according to the Icelandic epic Sneersgarten, they smell like a combination of pure iodine and blue cheese.
You see, now, you're not going to tell me that what you smelled was either like iodine or blue cheese.
Both.
Or both.
You're right. It was more like a bromine and feta cheese. I guess that proves it. Well, I'm convinced. It wasn't a wookalar.
Whatever it was, can we please get out of here? I don't want to get eaten by a wookalar or mountain lion or whatever else is out here.
Or a stingray. Crocodile hunter?
Alright, pack it up. It's a full moon. We should do alright.
Let's move out.
Greg? Greg, what happened? Where am I?
Jam! Don't worry, I'm here. Just... Wait, where's everybody else?
It must be the Francis Marion witch.
That's ridiculous. You probably just stepped off the trail, or they all stepped into some Burmese tiger trap set here by the Native Americans long ago.
Burmese Native Americans?
Yeah. Well, fortunately smallpox killed them off. Smallpox and Indians. Well, we better go this way.
Peter, look, what is it?
A giant alien!
It looks like a lobster.
Giant alien lobster! It's coming right at us!
Let's think. We've got to think. Is there anything we know about freakishly large animals? Anything we know that might help us?
I used to watch Clifford the Big Red Dog a lot.
Okay, anything helpful?
Really more questions than answers. Like, what if Clifford got rabies? That man would have made King Kong look like Lindsay Lohan.
I always wondered, what do you think they're gonna do with Clifford when he dies?
Bury him in the back with most dogs?
Wouldn't that structurally damage the island?
Hey, how about this one? What did they do with Clifford's, waist? I mean, they never show you that on the cartoon, and a dog that big?
That island must smell worse than Georgetown.
Maybe that's why they're on an island, They just put it all on a big old barge, send it out to sea, and just dump it in the ocean. Probably makes a great natural reef.
Or maybe they send it to Cuba in exchange for prisoners.
Wait, this isn't helping!
This sounds like Jan. What happened to she and Peter?
Wookalars!
Idiot.
We've got to go find her!
Oh, my legs! This isn't half my foot was really strong!
He's no gorilla, he's a wookalar!
Bobby, stop being a vegetable! There's no such thing as wookalars!
Dude, are you a wookalar or a gorilla?
No! What do you want? My luggage? I've got none!
Yeah! Dude, look, not cool. I'm taking out my wallet.
Just let me have the driver's license. And the subway card. And the library card. And this picture of my cat, Mr. Yum Yum. If it's okay, just let me have these $10 so I can get the new Baconator at Wendy's. Ah! Ah!
That sounds like Taisha. What happened to she and Bobby?
I don't know. Whatever got Jan and Peter must have gotten her and Bobby too.
It's not gonna get us. Look around for a weapon.
Like what?
Like a big stick or a pointy stick or a giant stick or an axe. Yeah!
You found an axe?
Yeah. And just in time too, look out!
Greg, hurry, it's coming!
Lay off! Nunchucks!
That's a giant hamster!
Impossible! No hamster could get that big. A guinea pig perhaps, but unless there's some sort of radioactive reactor around here that could have caused it to grow up to 10 times its normal size.
Or it's the product of the Francis Marion witch.
Ridiculous.
Greg, Jan, Taisha, Peter, and Bobby are all gone. They didn't believe either. Instead of skepticism and nunchucks, why don't we try faith?
You try faith, Marcia, and I'll try nunchucks. And when you're sitting at home all gnawed to death and I'm playing Parcheesi, you can apologize.
Greg, no one plays Parcheesi anymore.
Alright then, Stratego.
Dear God, whether there's a Francis Marion witch or not, I know there's you. And I know you can save me and my family. Please, Lord, save us!
Too late! Too late!
Marcia, you're really that you saved us with your prayers?
That's a laugh. It's my skills as a judo chop expert that got us out of that mess.
Why do you have such a hard time believing in God? Is it that you just can't believe that someone might have more power than you do?
Marcia, if God did exist, wouldn't he have been so mad that we didn't believe in him and you did, that he would have let us die and you live? And wouldn't that make more sense?
How awful, Greg, how awful. 5 of our 6 children killed in the prime of their lives.
And yet, Marcia still believes the supernatural played a part.
How could you believe no one was driving that truck?
She doesn't. I was talking about the giant hamster, lobster, and wookalar.
I thought it was a werewolf.
Whatever.
Why does she believe the horror was supernatural in origin?
Shock? Grief? Shock and grief?
But she's so convinced.
The police did a full investigation, and they found no evidence of anything out of the ordinary.
No evidence? No evidence?
Talk a little louder next time. Maybe they'll hear you in Texas.
Not all evidence can be seen. I have evidence that God loves me, but the proof's in here. You can't see it, and until your heart is softened to believe in the unseen, you never will. I feel sorry for you, but I hope someday, Father, that God gives you a sign.
Jeez, what has her so steamed?
You got shamed.
And there you have it, 3 accounts of actual people and actual events, so terrifying that no one would believe them if there wasn't some sort of informal documentation of their truthfulness. And this yearbook proves that they happened. Well, you can't prove they didn't happen, can you? But for a moment, let's get serious. Let's think back to what we've learned from these 3 cautionary tales. There are 3 things, 3 characteristics, that we must have in order to avoid enduring a fate worse than those endured by our characters. And there is such a fate. It's called hell, and it exists. And we're all in danger of going there. But there are 3 things that we can do to keep from enduring a fate, such as hell. Number 1 is confession. We're all sinners, and no one's perfect, but if we confess our sins to God, He will forgive us. Number 2 is repentance. If we repent our sins and realize that they're wrong, God will help us to overcome them. And most importantly is number 3. Number 3 is faith. If you accept Jesus Christ into your heart as your Savior, you will receive His gift of eternal life. That means instead of enduring the tortures of hell, you'll be delivered into the wonderful peace of heaven. Now's the time to believe if you don't already. Bow your head and pray with me. Dear God, I believe in you. I believe that you sent your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross to save me from my sins. Lord, please come into my heart and save me. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Now there's no reason to fear anymore. You can stop screaming and open your heart in praise. The book is closed.
Why don't you look away?